people threatening our lives, leaking addresses out there, putting crazy pictures that
Nobody's linked her address. Shut the fuck up.
Nothing.
Caitlin Clark doesn't step on that floor. You are not playing another single second either. Those were the exact unhinged words that had just echoed through the locker room corridors as Sophie Cunningham completely lost control. The WNBA is officially burning to the ground today. And what began as a brutal, dangerous punch to the throat on the court has now escalated into a full-scale physical threat behind closed doors. For the first time since driving her closed fist straight into Caitlin Clark's neck, Alyssa Thomas finally stepped out to face the media. But instead of showing remorse, instead of apologizing for a cheap shot the league later had to retroactively upgrade to a severe flagrant 2 foul, Thomas stood in front of the microphones and started spewing absolutely venomous lies. She literally tried to gaslight the entire world, claiming it was just a routine basketball play, that there was zero malicious intent, and that Clark was simply putting on a scene to draw the whistle. But here is the breaking news that just turned this dramatic situation into outright warfare. Just hours after Thomas finished her press conference, a leaked medical report from the Indiana Fever training facility confirmed everyone's worst nightmare. Caitlin Clark has officially been pulled from full practice with a severe agonizing back injury. The footage does not lie. During that exact sequence where Thomas delivered the devastating blow, Clark twisted her spine while crashing to the floor, aggravating a lingering, dangerous back issue that has now forced team doctors to step in and shut her down indefinitely. She is hurting, she is sidelined, and yet the mainstream media and Alyssa Thomas are still actively dragging her name through the mud. And that was the exact millisecond Sophie Cunningham completely snapped. Witnesses inside the building said Sophie was so emotionally overwhelmed and furious that security guards had to physically hold her back from storming the Phoenix media room. Sophie went live on air completely out of control and absolutely tore into Alyssa Thomas in front of millions of viewers. She screamed into the microphones, calling Thomas an absolute disgrace to the sport, shouting that you cannot hunt down a generational superstar, put her in the hospital, and then have the audacity to talk trash during a public statement. Sophie's warning was clear, dangerous, and completely unprecedented. If the league office refuses to protect the golden goose of women's basketball, the players will take matters into their own hands. She looked directly into the camera lens and delivered a chilling direct message to Thomas, saying that if Clark's back injury keeps her out of the next game, she will personally make sure Thomas never sees the Texas.
Why would I know? I mean, I'm asking a question. So, guys, I keep telling you guys, you don't hate the media enough. Sophie Cunningham just kept it real about the Phoenix Mercury organization.
You know what? Some people feel that.
Wow. People that work for the Mercury, Grant Young posted this. I'm going to give him a shout out. Blind squirrel finds nut. People inside the Mercury organization can't stand this team. Rude. Unprofessional, not friendly.
Think about the sheer insanity of what is unfolding behind the scenes right now. For months, the tension inside the WNBA has been building like a ticking time bomb. Every single night, Caitlin Clark steps onto the hardwood only to be shoved, targeted, scratched, and physically battered by veterans who seem to be playing under an entirely different rulebook. When fans complained on social media, the media called them sensitive. When analysts pointed out the dangerous pattern on national television, the league office responded with generic, empty statements about the physical nature of professional basketball. But tonight, that narrative has flipped permanently. Alyssa Thomas thought she could walk into a press conference, play the victim, and pretend that striking a rookie in the neck is just normal defense. She thought the world would simply nod along with her lies, but she completely underestimated the pure fury of Sophie Cunningham. The legal and financial fallout from this media explosion is already beginning to tear the league apart. Behind closed doors in the front office, it is absolute, unmitigated chaos. Emergency board meetings are being called at midnight. Phones are ringing nonstop, and high-priced corporate lawyers are frantically trying to figure out how to contain this massive public relations nightmare. Corporate sponsors are panicking because this locker room war is no longer a standard athletic rivalry. It has spilled over into real, unscripted verbal violence and physical threats. Brands that poured millions of dollars into the WNBA this season are already threatening to pull their funding if immediate drastic disciplinary action is not taken against everyone involved. Now look closely at the medical reality facing the Indiana Fever. A severe back injury for a guard who depends on speed, rapid changes of direction, and elite shooting mechanics is not something you can simply ignore. The medical staff knows that if they rush Caitlin Clark back onto the floor too early just to satisfy television ratings, they risk permanently damaging the career of the most.
That would mean so much to me. Quote, just the whole narrative that's being painted out there. It's unfortunate that it's come to this over basketball.
I'm crazy. the playing the game, being suspended, just the whole narrative that's being painted out there. It's unfortunate that it's come to this over basketball. A lot of us, myself included, didn't even know the play took place until after, the game. And, now we're being painted as thugs and there's death threats out on us. So it's really unacceptable. It is something that needs to change in this league. And I'm just really sick and tired of it.
You are a thug, Alyssa Thomas. You're a thug. You're a dirty player. You're a nasty individual. You put a fist in Caitlin Clark's throat and a knee in her groin, and you're going to act like, oh, I didn't even know that took place. I didn't even know that happened, as I'm diving onto her and using my fist as an arm cushion to get up. Oh, I didn't even know that happened. Oh my gosh. The narrative.
The fans are terrified. Ticket prices for the upcoming games are already crashing on the secondary market, and the league is realizing that without Clark on the floor, their entire stadium expansion plan collapses into dust. Yet instead of showing concern, Thomas used her platform to downplay the severity, mock the injury, and paint herself as the one being unfairly targeted by public scrutiny. Sophie Cunningham drawing a line in the sand changes everything we know about player dynamics in this league. She did not just speak as an individual. She spoke for every single person who is sick and tired of watching malicious cheap shots go unpunished. Sophie's emotional breakdown on live television was raw, unfiltered, and dangerous. By openly threatening to make sure Thomas does not play if Clark is sidelined, she has introduced a level of frontier justice into the WNBA. The players' union is currently in total silence, paralyzed by the realization that locker room stability has been completely shattered. Right now, the WNBA is in a total, irreversible meltdown. The pressure on the commissioner to issue a multi-game suspension to Alyssa Thomas for her media comments and her original foul is reaching a breaking point. This is no longer about a bad game or an aggressive foul. This is about the very survival of sports integrity, and the truth is finally too loud for the executives to hide. The next 24 hours will completely reshape the future of the league. We need to hear from the real basketball community right now. Was Sophie Cunningham completely justified in threatening Alyssa Thomas to protect Caitlin Clark from these malicious attacks? Or did her emotional breakdown on air take things entirely too far? This is the exact moment when the fans have to seize control of the narrative and force the league office to act. Drop your honest, unfiltered thoughts in the comments below. If you stand with Sophie Cunningham for finally standing up against the corruption and the cheap shots, smash that like button right now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications because the unedited audio of Sophie's locker room confrontation is leaking next, and you cannot afford to miss a single second. Stay tuned because this war is far from over.